What's going on, Jerome's Minnesota Vikings defense started off as one of the best in the National Football League, but last couple weeks, maybe not so much, right? So the Rams and the Lions each putting up 4 touchdowns on the Vikings defense just hasn't been ideal. And Flores spoke to the local media jackals on Tuesday, and Flores straight up looked exhausted. Right, and I don't think it's so much the impact and stress of the season. I think what it is him and the coaching staff putting together a hell of a game plan for the Colts. Monday, Tuesday are generally the long-ass game plan days for a Sunday game. So the Vikings going to get back after things, man. So you can't really cry about what's been going on, but you can look to fix things. Guys can look to play better, coach better, and everything like that. And Flores had some stuff and some things to say. So let's get down to it. First up, so takeaways from Flores' presser. Lost 2 tough games versus 2 good opponents. And I feel like that gets lost in the soup. Like everyone wants to call the Vikings frauds. But the Lions are looking like a unit. The Rams with Puka and Cooper Kupp back are certainly different than the Rams team of previous weeks. So it just sort of is what it is, right? And the Vikings, no excuses. Like, if you're going to go far in the playoffs, you got to be good teams and good offenses. Have to adjust from there, and no excuse on being on the short week and blah blah blah. Right. Also, a small margin of error in the National Football League. A few penalties in the Rams game that extended drives. Now, he wasn't throwing officiating under the bus, but I mean, you just can't give good teams opportunities because they'll come back. They'll come back and they'll do bad things. Plus, they got to reduce the my bad plays where even when you win, even when your defense plays well, I mean, there's never going to be perfection. And you talked about how there's still mistakes when things go well, but reducing it from 1 or 2, from 7 or 8 guys saying my bad on a play, which we've certainly seen, to 1 or 2, that's the way to go. Also, you don't have to play perfect, but you have to play good. That's what it comes down to. Plus, talking about how they do need to work on alignments. It felt like the last couple of games, some of the run fits have been out of whack. Plus, just basic communication. Cashman being out certainly impacts that. Plus the check system, which Flores has talked about, where on the fly against a certain look you go with this, against another look you go with this, and it just seems like the whole cat and mouse game hasn't been the same since Cashman has been out. Now he did talk up pace, doing a good job replacing Cashman with the green dot, but just losing that amount of experience, even though it is a next man up mentality, like certainly impacts things. And let's not pretend like there isn't a clear delineation between how the defense looked with Cashman the first 5 games versus how it looked without him the last 2. Right. So hopefully getting Cashman back against the Colts will certainly help things, right? And also the Lions and everyone has to do a little bit more, and the Lions and Rams were very well prepared for pressure. And I know that people want to be like, oh, well, the NFL's figured out Flores as defense. Well, first off, I mean, respect. I mean, the Lions, Ben Johnson seen as one of the brightest offensive minds in the game. Sean McVay is Sean frickin' McVay, right? So you have 2 of the most high-end offensive minds who found a way to mitigate the Vikings' pressure. I mean, that's not necessarily the league figuring things out, but it's now up to Flores to make the next chess move against Shane Steichen and the Colts coming in on Sunday night. Also, talking about Diamond Dallas Turner, there's been a lot of talk about that. It's like, how come he's not playing as much and blah blah blah. But praise Turner, doing a good job, good player, bright future. He's heard everyone talk about the snap counts, but also you can't just judge off of 7 games into a career. And everyone wants everything right now, and so does Turner. Like Turner is champion at the bit; he wants to be out there as well. But then he alluded to Cameron Hayward, who did the damn thing against the Giants on Monday Night Football. Cameron Hayward probably going to be a future Hall of Famer. He didn't start his first 2 years because he was stuck behind guys like Brett Kiesel and whatnot along that great Steelers defensive front, and he didn't even make his first Pro Bowl or All-Pro team until he was 28. So you could say that Hayward is a bit of a late bloomer. Hopefully it doesn't take that long with Turner, but you're going to write the guy off as a bust after 7 games just because Verse is out with the Rams doing big-time things, even though Verse is 3 years older than Turner. But I don't know, he's going to be fine. Right, and also talked about how Flores said that we're going to get him, Dallas Turner, in a little bit more, but also talked about how he is in a very deep edge rushing room as well. So snaps are hard to come by. It is what it is. Also talked about how the Rams and Lions went a little bit with tempo, no huddle menu on defense. If they go fast, there's no checks, and teams certainly have taken advantage of that. So players do have to do a little bit better out there on the field. And for the Colts, Richardson, whether he plays, Flacco plays, whatever, like Richardson, explosive athlete, JEROME, he's still finding his way. Obviously, 44.4% completion percentage, making some mental errors out there as well. I mean, there's mistakes all over the place, but he still makes some big-time plays, man. And also praise that the early season throw, flat-footed, 65 yards on a dot. I mean, stuff. That's tough to do. Like there's maybe like 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league that can make that throw in the last 20 years, and Richardson is one of them. Colts have been in every game. I can't take them lightly. They're 4-4, but they easily could be 6-2, they could be 2-6, right? So this game is going to be a fight because they have a great offensive line. They have one of the best young running backs in the league in Jonathan Taylor-Thomas, good receivers as well. Did talk about how if Flacco is in, the run game will be different. Obviously, he doesn't have the mobility of Anthony Richardson, so it's a game that's going to be tough again. And it's interesting because obviously the Vikings played tough games early, but the last couple of games in quick succession, the Lions and the Rams, it has been great. But the Vikings have this glorious opportunity Sunday night to get back to where they once belong, and hopefully Flores and that defense can certainly do that. But that's it. Your thoughts are thoughts. Flo's Tuesday press conference. You guys know what to do. Skull, production value.